Well, hello everyone, and this is CB Smallwood, and you're watching the How to Draw Comics series. And today I'm going to show you 12 easy steps, 12 easy methods, whatever you want to call it, 12 easy building patterns or skyscraper patterns. And in no time you're going to have a little bit more confidence on how to draw the city or buildings, skyscrapers when it comes to drawing comics or illustration in general. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, these 12 patterns I've got and taken from a flurry of different artists. You can take your pick from George Perez to Jim Lee to what is his name? I'll think of it here in a second. Ron Friends is another one. Many of these artists, these pros, use these patterns. So let's go ahead and get started with the first pattern. And right now, when I draw these, I'm just doing simple squares because it's not necessary to draw straight. It's not necessary to get super fancy with it. All we're doing is just 12 easy skyscraper or building patterns. Okay, so the first pattern that we're going to do is we're just going to go across, and that's it. That's your first skyscraper. And now we're going to go to the second one. Now you can draw these out of order, it doesn't matter. Some of these are a little bit repetitive, and we could probably actually narrow down a lot of these patterns down to probably like 6 or so. But you know, for the sake of this video, we're going to do 12. And there's number 2. You see how simple that is? Now when you go, again, when you go to draw your city or your cityscape or your buildings, you're going to make these longer or shorter, however, or wider, however you want them to be. But the point is, what we're doing here is we're trying to actually take the time out to draw all the different cityscapes, all the different patterns that there are that can be found when it comes to drawing a city. And we're trying to do ones that are simple. Now there are more complex ones where the architecture is very rich and stuff, but our goal is not to draw those. What we're doing is buildings that can easily be put in the foreground or background that will give you not much trouble. And you can always on your own study better architecture that is a lot more fancier, a lot more detailed, that will make your cityscape pop even more. But what we want to do is we want to create some basic building blocks. We want to give you a foundation of things that you can do. Now again, we've not reached the full 12 patterns yet, but already we've got 4 here. Very simple, just lines across, lines going down here this way, that way, and this one has a frame. A lot of buildings, you're going to have the header on them, this thick part that's going to be on the top. So you've got that, and then we've got the simple just up and down lines going on here. And then here we've got this building shape. And again, the goal is not to draw straight. The goal is not to use a ruler, but to basically familiarize yourself with these patterns. And you see, this building, number 5, is pretty much the same building as number 2, except for this one has smaller windows, and this one, the windows are going in that direction. Very simple stuff. Moving on now to, let's see, well, let's put number 6 right here. We'll put that there. Now hopefully when I go to edit this video, I will include maybe some pictures of comic book pros using these exact same building or skyscraper or cityscape type of patterns. And you'll see that that this is something that you too can do. Now, in these examples, if I do post them in the video, you will be able to see that not only do they use these for the bulk of their city buildings, but there are a few exceptions where they'll use one or two fancy buildings that they'll put in the foreground. But again, we're not going to cover that in this video. We're instead just focusing on the simple. Building number 7. Here we go. And we got there we go. There's that one. Now moving on to building number 8. And what you want to do in the video, you can always pause the video and use a clipping tool or a snapshot tool or screen capture to capture, I guess once this is completed, this whole sheet, so that way you will have it at home to use and to practice and to memorize if you was to so choose to do so. Okay, we got another building with a header on top. And for this one, we're going to put smaller windows in. Number 9, we're going to do, let's see here. We're going to make this really thin. And really, maybe number 9 shouldn't be in here, but we're throwing it in anyway. It is basically the same building as 7, but the only difference is I made the window panels much tighter. So again, all these, you can create numerous variations on each one of these to create your cityscape. So here is 10. Okay, we're going to do this kind of double box shape. All right, and then there's that. But, again, adding variation. There you go. You see what I'm saying? So, number 11, we've got this. And we're going to put 3 of these beams going down. And we're going to put a couple of windows going across. Well, more than a couple, I guess. Several. So there you go. There's number 11. But I said that there was 12 of these, right? There's 12 of these fantastic buildings that we're going to put in this. So let's go over to number 12, and we'll put number 12 right here. Now, number 12 is not so much a detailed pattern, which these are not detailed by any measure. And again, we're not using rulers. The goal is not so much the accuracy of it. What we're trying to do is memorize simple patterns, so that way we'll be more equipped with skill and confidence to draw the city, skyscrapers, and buildings. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a city outline, and Here, all you're going to do is just some, rectangles and squares and different shapes to create a city outline. And, sometimes you'll have something dip down, go across, and then maybe a big giant skyscraper in the sky. You dip down some more, go up, you come here, and then some jagged edges there. And maybe you want to add a antenna or two, as some cityscapes have. And so there you have it. There is 12 easy building patterns. I hope this video has been really helpful for you. I got a lot more How to Draw comic stuff. You take these, you practice these, and I always recommend that you draw each and every one of these at least 5 times to try to memorize them. Take this, screenshot this, nail it up on a wall, and that way when you go to draw your buildings, you can have more confidence. Again, look at some of the examples of people like Jim Lee, George Perez, Ron Friends, even Eric Larson, whose buildings tend to be a lot more simpler than that, even though he can draw some pretty good buildings whenever he wants to. But the point is, when you're drawing comics, you want to create the illusion of a city, and it's more important of what's happening inside the city than necessarily you trying to render the most realistic city of all time. If you look at other comic book artist examples, you'll see that sometimes they'll create skyscrapers that don't even exist, but they do look aesthetically pleasing. And so the point is, your goal as a comic book artist or as an illustrator or whatever is to create the illusion of reality as much as you can possibly humanly do. Of course, when you actually go to start drawing your comics, you will need to use a ruler for this to turn out right. But when you're learning the patterns, when you're learning how to do these, it's more important to just crudely doodle these and get them down. Here's 12. There's probably more, or maybe you can narrow them down to probably like 5 or 6. That's okay. And as always, I have more videos that you can watch, and hopefully at the end of this video you'll see where you can check out how to draw sexy ladies, beautiful ladies, voluptuous ladies. You can draw women for comics, girl for comics, or whatever, and it's just one pose, but there's a lot more poses that I will do later on, so be sure to check that video out. And as always, we're finally going to end it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching this. My name is CB Smallwood, and you've been watching How to Draw Comics. Thanks for tuning in, and please like and subscribe.